actually in the screen?
Yep, you're right in the bullseye middle. And it's recording. I don't like it.
Why?
Because you're not smiling or anything.
Well, I'm not ready to shoot yet. Hey everyone, FG again. This is going to be a little bit of an experiment. This is the first time that I've tried to do a longer scope voiceover for a video, and the reason that I don't have straight up audio here is that this was shot at night with my new Scoshi Nexar dash cam, which has a Sony Starvis wide resolution video chip built in. That is the image sensor. And so someone had asked, hey, I'd like to see your headlights at night. You talked about installing them, the ones that you'd put in the Katanas, and how are they? Did they really make a difference? What do they look like? Well, I thought that was a reasonable question. So I'm going to begin the voiceover here with the video. The Scoshi camera does record audio along with the video, but that was just me and the director on board, just being goofy. So I don't know if you really want the raw audio. You might, I don't know, you might find it amusing. Maybe you would. We're always pretty goofy when we're driving somewhere, especially when we're trying to do a project at the same time. So maybe I'll do an outtakes version of this and I'll leave the audio connected. That could be pretty funny too. Although the radio was playing at the same time. So what'll happen is that YouTube will get all excited and all upset about copyrights, and they'll give me a hand smack here. So if I'm just doing voiceover, then I'm all good. So anyway, we'll go from there. And so this is picking up the video, and hopefully I can coordinate this while I'm speaking and watching at the same time. This probably is a little more difficult than I had actually imagined, trying to synchronize a running commentary in the background while watching the footage that's already been recorded. So hopefully this goes well, and here we go. All right, so this is us in the driveway. I flipped on the lights there for a second. You can see across the street there's the house, neighbors, and we actually do live in somewhat of a suburb, so we actually do have street lights, which not everybody has. Actually, this is one of the few neighborhoods I've lived in that did have street lights. Most of the places I lived were a little more rural than this, except for my last apartment, which obviously had a big parking lot, and that had lights too. So you can see the guy on a bike there going by at like 9 o'clock at night, giving the dog a run, and the passing car. Okay, now we cut the headlights on. So this is at low beam, so you can see the throw pattern over to the side of the street, and the car parked there, and they're actually pretty good. For a $50 set of drop-in LEDs that were, never really designed for what the type of housing, that they're actually in, I think they match with the reflectors quite well. So this is just us going down the street, right kind of catty corner across the road from us is one of the local elementary schools. So we're just taking a spin through the parking lot right here. And okay, so that just jumped views a little bit because it was kind of boring in between, so I'm just giving you a hoppy clip here. All right, so this is just us exiting out again, and you'll see that I'm going to go from just the low beam and go ahead and switch up to high beam as well. And so you're going to see those jump on here in a few seconds. There we are. Okay, and so you see all the side of our house light up, and you can see all the trees and everything are well illuminated. All right, now I do have to put a caveat here. The way I have my light bars assembled, they are connected to the high beams. So this is not just the Katanas alone. Now, when the low beams are on, the fog lamps, which are Hikari LEDs, are also on, but I haven't adjusted them yet, so they really don't make a whole lot of difference. They're pretty low, so they're not doing much. What you're seeing here is mostly the Katanas. So on the low beam only, it's just the Katanas. On the high beam, you got one of the 16-inch light bars in the front that also comes on, and then I've got two rectangular LED light pods, which are also wired in to that same circuit. Now I can turn those on and off individually as well with a switch. Okay, there's back to high beam again, and then back to low. Obviously you can see car coming, so I didn't want to burn the paint off the front of his car. All right, so now I go back to high beam. So yeah, you can basically see that pretty much just about everything is really well lit up on the sides. So like I said, this is kind of a bit of an unfair test, because even though I can turn these on and off individually with the switches in the overhead console, which I had talked about in another video, those switches do not defeat the connection to the high beam switch. That was just done with some diodes and the relays. So they're tied in to the factory harness. The high beam output from the IPDME/R. Yeah, you gotta love it. It's intelligent and whatever it is, something power distribution engine room. Yeah, it's Nissan speak. So they come on whenever the high beam switch is clicked. So to stop that from happening, I would have to go into my fuse box that I had constructed and deconnect those diodes temporarily so that they wouldn't switch on full time. I might do that and maybe redo the video, and we'll see how that goes. But anyway, this I think gives you a very good idea anyway, and I would imagine primarily people are mostly interested in what the low beam looks like, because it's probably what you're going to be using most. So even though the high beam is kind of cheating in a way, even with the straight up Katanas themselves, which I've seen some other people post some short video and some photographs, the beam pattern on highs even alone was pretty darn good. Okay, they were back to high again. And we'll come through here. It's another piece of the neighborhood, and we'll step down in a moment. And coming around to the end of the block, and here we're just going to go ahead and head home. And there we are. All right, so I hope that gave you a pretty good visual indication of what's going on. I am going to do another video since we did shoot parallel footage, I guess you could say, with two different machines. This one, as I'd mentioned, is the Scotia camera, which is mounted and just hardwired into the truck. It's basically a traffic cam, for legality or anything like that. If something were to happen on a trip, that you would have video evidence. But it's also nice just to be able to do things like this. This turned out actually a lot more useful than the handheld video that the director had shot, because she didn't have a stand for it, so she was basically holding the camera with her arms, and her arms were getting tired. Right? I mean, human is human, right? So we got a lot of bounce in that video. So even though she did shoot a lot of it straight forward through the windshield, when I sat down and compared the quality of both of these video captures, it definitely turned out that the Scotia, since it's mounted solidly to the windshield with a large suction cup, was very, very steady, whereas the other one, if you're prone to motion sickness, possibly could induce some queasy stomach. We'll go with that. So that's basically where we are, and So like I said, I'm going to take some of that footage from the other one, and I'm going to produce a video that shows the side-mounted lamps, which I haven't really focused on very much. Those are 20-inch, I think, if I remember, or maybe 22s. And that was actually the director's idea. She wanted to go deer and moose spotting up in Maine, because that's where she's from. So we do some off-roading up there as well. And when I was talking about adding lights to the truck, she's like, well, you're going to have to add some lights to the side as well. And actually, that was a very good suggestion. It turned out pretty good. These are pretty nice low-profile lamps, so they don't really add very much aerodynamic drag. And since they're mounted with the long axis sideways, it's only the profile of the end which is actually catching any air. So I really doubt that they're making very much difference compared to the 42-inch monster that's located on the front of the truck, which definitely catches a lot of air. I can hear it whistle. So anyway, with the side lamps, yeah, they really do help a lot. We've been riding at night on some of the further back roads out in Maine and some of the areas in New England, and we would flip them on, and you would see just a whole bunch of deer out there in a field, just grazing away. And they were probably very surprised, because here it's very dark, and all of a sudden here comes this UFO-looking thing, boom, and the night all lights up. So yeah, it can be pretty neat what you find hiding in the dark. So anyway, FG signing off. I hope this was helpful and maybe somewhat entertaining, hopefully. And we'll come back at you again soon. So, as I like to say, it's a big world out there. Go out, get that truck muddy. Looks like we may be, hopefully, fingers crossed, getting near the end of the worldwide histrionics of the pandemic. So it looks like things are starting to relax a little bit, and we can go out and start enjoying things again. So please do. Get your friends together. Get your trucks out. Go out and have some fun. It's still a big world, and it's still out there waiting. Regardless of whatever else is going on, go see it. FG out.